But it is interesting to note, though, like, a surgery, I mean, there's different levels and different skills. You take, like, how much a surgery costs and how much someone gets paid for doing a surgery versus selling one CD or, I mean, I know they're different things, and maybe it's not fair to compare, but it's like they're both sets of skills, and maybe there's different money spent and different ways to go about learning those skills, but there's still time and effort put into it, and obviously surgery is going to affect someone's life in one way, but that CD could affect someone's life in another way.
I kind of blame the price difference on the individual industries themselves, because like illustration industries, for example, they get robbed consistently. It's like standard to stiff illustrators by corporations, and but tattoo artists, on the other hand, make a killing. They make a lot of money, doing practically the same thing, just drawing on skin, but they've established themselves as, you're going to spend money if you're going to get a tattoo. Where illustrators are undercutting each other, offering free work. Corporations are expecting free work, so they're devaluing themselves. And it's surgeons have established themselves as a
right. But the thing is that it still costs the same amount of money for me to eat as them to eat, and so it's not. That's the unfair part of it.
Right.
It's not like I get there's different levels of eating, but still it's like a gallon of milk is a gallon of milk, right?
Yeah.
That's all the more reason. Sorry.
The model with the surgeon, to me, is very similar, I think, to the rock star who's employed by a major label. Most of that money's not going to that surgeon. Most of the money is going through a fat layer of middle management administrative layer of stuff.
But at the end of the day, the surgeon's still take a nice bigger chunk than the artist can. For one, depends on who it is.
All depends on the artist, and how big it is.
Right. If I'm comparing like a top surgeon to Lady Gaga, that's one thing. But if I'm comparing an independent artist to a medium surgeon, there's a difference. Yeah.
Because that medium level surgeon, what we'll call him, is if he's employed at a hospital, he's got like that major label kind of behind him, so to speak, and that's the hospital administration level.
Right.
To me, an independent artist, if you wanted to make that similar kind of analogy, would be more similar to like maybe the local veterinarian who's independent, in like a rural community. That would be kind of more similar to me than the surgeon who's employed by a doctor. I mean, a hospital that has a whole industry in between that's kind of exists between him and his patient or her patient.
Yeah, but my point is that the surgeon has a set of skills to do something. The independent musician has a set of skills to do something, and the idea that the independent musician to get to like a Gaga or whatever, there's a lot of bureaucracy, I should say, in both formats, but I don't know. Maybe it's just as difficult, right?
Right. It is.
Maybe.
I honestly think that if musicians are as disciplined as people that become doctors, I think that this is less of an issue.
Yeah.
Most of the people that have careers in the music industry are very, very hard workers, and the people that don't, it's a combination of lack of dedication and lack of, skill set, but a lot of it is dedication. People who are really, really want it bad enough usually end up getting it.
Seems like there's just this myth, and that's not to say it doesn't happen, but this myth that like, okay, I'm going to do this artwork, somebody's going to see it, and that's that. I'm good.
Yeah.
Golden from here on out, And that does happen from time to time, but that's probably like less than 1%.
Way less than 1%. It's like a similar level. It's like winning the lottery or something.
Right. Right.
No, you build up word of mouth in the community around you, and you hit enough people, and you do a good job with enough people that it starts to build up, and it's a natural thing.
But do you think it's? I mean, it's hard to sell art, music, movies, all that stuff. But do you think like possibly selling music it's easier when we talk about the internet? It's easier to get someone to buy an album or a song than it is say artwork or a movie.
Well, the advantage of being a musician, and why I bring in the dedication thing, is I don't think it's good enough for a musician to just do one thing anymore. right? I don't think, like, part of your skill set that's required to make this a career now is to be able to do so many different things. You have to be able to teach, you have to be able to compose, you have to be able to play live, you have to be able to, write for, just blog or whatever, do some kind of social media where you're getting yourself out there. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to do all these things to make a career out of it nowadays, and right. I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. I just think it's a different change of skill set.
I don't even think it's really that. The skill sets change, but I think it's always been that way. To really be, a professional in an artistic thing, you've got to do that. I mean, if you
got to be a businessman at some point.
You've got to be a business person. If you want to be a band leader, that's a lot more than just being a good trumpet player. There's a whole list of skills that you've got to have together, or it's just not going to work.
And especially now more than ever. Now artists, musicians all have the opportunity to really control their income.
Yeah, you have so many tools. Like if I think about if I was an engineer 15 years ago, what I would have access to, I would have a DAT tape, and I wouldn't be able to write something from scratch and take it to mastered on iTunes at a quality level that's not much different from a major studio. That's crazy. That's happened in 15 years. So this there's not much of an excuse for musicians not to be doing this stuff and not to be learning it. It's very important.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, my plan when I first was, where I wanted to be a player, my plan going through school was just to become the greatest a musician that was so good that I couldn't be ignored, and that everyone would just want me to play on their project. I just wanted to be a sideman. I didn't want to be a band leader. I just wanted people to call me up and play guitar on their projects. That was my plan. But then by the time I was done, with college, I sat there, and when I was done practicing, I would look at my telephone, and it wouldn't ring, so it was clear. I was like, okay, if something's going to happen, I'm going to have to kind of make that happen, And so that was the day. That realization, that little epiphany was the day I became a band leader. I figured, okay, I think rather than wait for someone to call me with a gig, I have to go make the gig, and I'll hire these side.
I think, and that's an important distinction. I think a lot of musicians expect being able to play and writing songs to be enough, and they expect somebody to find them, which is complete crap. Yeah. I mean, you can't do that, least of all now.
No.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.